Welcome back to the Stick 'em Up podcast. Burundi, we are one game in on each side of the conferences into the playoffs. And I don't know about all you listeners out there, but this is not the start I thought either series was going to be getting off to. So obviously, we have plenty to talk about as far as those pair of game ones go in these playoffs. But before that, we got a little bit of news around the league. There's still a lot of movement with coaches. There's some coaches that want to move and can't move, or at least are being told they can't by the team currently still hiring them. But with that all said, which one do we want to start with?
I'll let you pick. But both are two very different scenarios with these coaches.
Yeah, let's start north of the border. Let's go with the Canucks first. They fired head coach Adam Foote.
News broke last episode as we were wrapping up, so we didn't really talk much about it. But I figured we can actually discuss about this a little bit.
Yeah. This seems like one of those moves you only make if you know the replacement, right? Like that. Like it's not like it was his fault. Like it's not his fault the team was bad, right?
Yeah, no.
Like obviously. So it's like I don't know why they would fire this guy unless they have their eye on somebody specific to fill his spot.
I don't
Unless
think it's
they just
necessarily
really want a change of scenery.
I don't even think it's necessarily either of that, because I mean the first reason they brought Adam Foote in the first place was to kind of, make Quinn Hughes happy, right? And when they were still on the camp of trying to, keep Quinn Hughes and run with it, and it, things didn't work that way, and the way things were going for Vancouver this season, it's like, why even make a coaching change mid-season when the plan was to tank and they were already doing bad? So don't mess with a bad thing in their case. But I think this decision is because if they kept Adam Foote, you're committing to him for at least 2 more seasons. And I don't think they wanted to go that route, because the plan for Vancouver now is to tank, rebuild, and whatnot. Right. And it reminds me very similar to San Jose, who's, coming out of rebuild now. But back then they had Peter DeBoer, fired him, and promoted Bob Boughner to head coach. And he wasn't bad. I thought he was actually a pretty decent head coach given what he had. And they still fired him because they were getting really deep in the trenches of a rebuild. Back-to-back bottom place in the league, back-to-back, 10 goal against losses. And so they fired Boughner and they brought in David Quinn. And this is what I think Vancouver's doing. They're going to find their David Quinn probably, who is going to be the coach to be there through the hardest of times and just be a good coach for these younger players.
Right.
And no expectations. The plan is, in terms of the organization, is to suck for a couple more years. You get top end draft picks and you start to build your way up. So if you
they're not looking for a playoff contending team. Like they're specifically they want to see Zeev Bium take a bit of a step next season. Like that's what they're looking for as far as the next head coach goes, not team success. So what, that does make a lot of sense. And I did forget
if you
that they
keep
brought
Adam
him in
Foote
for Quinn Hughes a lot as well. Like that'd be like keeping a guy like, obviously he's already gone now, but keeping a guy like Jay Woodcroft around for Edmonton even after Connor McDavid, if he were to leave. Like why would you keep him then? Like he was the McDavid whisperer. Like that was the whole reason. So was it Woodcroft or was it
as you say, I think you're thinking Knobloch,
okay, was it Knobloch? They went through so many coaches so quickly. I couldn't keep them straight. But
I think the stat is Nugent Hopkins is going into his 15th season and he'll be on his 10th or 11th head coach. So that.
Jeez.
But a couple names have been thrown up for Vancouver. Manny Malhotra is one of them, and I think he might be kind of the exception to this, where he might just be the guy to be there in the rebuild and then start to be with the team as they come up. Um, but even then, it's like, that's a tough spot for a coach of, hey, come here and, probably at least 3 bottom feeding seasons until they start to ramp up again. So, because again, if you keep Adam Foote, it's very rare to see teams when they're, sucking and in a rebuild of firing a coach, right? Because then it can be pretty tough to find an established guy at that point. It's not a very desirable job. So it's easier to fire Foote now. You bring in a guy and it's like, hey, and it's probably going to be a first time head coach in NHL. Like it's not going to be a Jay Woodcroft.
When you
Berube,
say it's not desirable,
like
that's like grading on a curve, right? Like Bruce Cassidy.
Coaches,
Bruce Cassidy's not going to want to go to Vancouver, but like it's not like they're not going to be able to find 50 guys begging for that job. It's just you're not going to get the premium ones. Exactly. They're looking for at minimum teams that were just outside the playoffs, and
which is why I think Manny Malhotra is the exception. Because I think he can be a very good head coach in the league, and it's going to be. I mean, it's going to be nice and easy for Vancouver to get him. So if that's a guy they go with, I think he could actually be there long term. But if they don't get him, because I heard Toronto maybe, then whoever they get is probably going to be come join us. You'll get some experience as a head coach in the league while we suck, and then when we eventually fire you, when we're ready to start building up, it'll be easy for you to land on your feet elsewhere potentially.
Yeah,
it's kind of how I view this.
It sounds like these are all, of course, rumors, right? But it sounds like he was offered the job, or at least like it was floated out to him for the head coaching job in Vancouver, basically under the pretenses of like, we're going to be coaching through this rebuild and we're not going to really be paying you very well, like comparative to NHL head coaches. Like it sounds like it was like less than like $800,000 a year. Like it was like he'd be making like less than like league min players, but it would be for like 2 or 3 years with the promise of like, if it goes well, you get to be the head coach and we'll pay you handsomely afterwards. It's kind of like an earned trust thing, but like, and
I don't think Vancouver really is in a position to be doing that.
I was going to say, I'm inclined to believe those rumors just because, I mean, look at who the owner is, right? Like, he's not a guy who likes to pay people, but that doesn't make it super enticing for him. Like, if you do a good job in several years, and especially when if he's got Toronto knocking on his door, like, that's kind of a no-brainer to me, at least.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what they do there and if they can bring in a established name or if they're going to have to find a guy that not a lot of people know of.
Yeah.
Because I feel like a lot of the best coaches over the past decade have kind of been guys that nobody's really known their name before they get the job, that everyone's like, wow, this guy's great. And, some of them, people do know their name, guys like Marty St. Louis, but nobody was saying, oh, he's definitely going to be the next head coach of the Canadiens before he got a chance. Like, he wasn't connected to the NHL at all. So I feel like a lot of like Dan Muse, I'd never heard of Dan Muse a year and a bit ago. And
now everyone knows his name.
Yeah, it was fantastic. But it'll be interesting to see who Vancouver picks up. And I'm also really excited to see who Toronto picks up, because they are going into a very unique situation over there.
Yeah. I'm sure a lot of stuff will slowly trickle out of Toronto, but we got nothing for Toronto. But we do have some other coaching news involving a former Leafs head coach, Sheldon Keefe. A couple days ago, it was announced he will be staying in New Jersey as the head coach of the Devils.
I don't mind it.
I don't love
the fit. I don't love the fit there, but at the same time, it's kind of like, it's not even that I don't love the fit. they just played like crap last year, and I don't really know why, but, like, the type of play that he coaches is exactly what the Devils should want,
Mhm.
and they're just losing a lot of hockey games. I really don't know what it is, but and obviously they haven't had great injury luck either, especially with Jack Hughes. Just finally, he doesn't get a huge on ice injury, and then he glasses his hand open, and then he
Yeah.
misses several weeks for that. And it's like there's all kinds of stuff going on. So yeah,
Yeah,
I think giving him another year is fair because
I think
last
it's
year
like
was that
a
his first year or was that his is
second.
this going to be his third year
This will be
going
his
into his
third
third
year.
year? Okay,
Yeah. I think it's one of those things of now it's basically either New Jersey makes the playoffs or he's done. And even going into next
that's how it
season,
should be.
like
I think.
he's on a short leash. If by December rolls around and New Jersey's already like, 10 points back of a playoff spot, I think they move on from him. Like I
Yeah,
think they'll bring him back, but they know like we can't have another losing season. It's
yeah.
like New Jersey's got to be going in to win. And it's pretty interesting because this was announced 2 days ago, or maybe even yesterday. Maybe it was early yesterday. And then this morning, and I don't know if this is confirmed, but it's from a reporter out of Slovakia. They put out this morning that Simone Nemec has requested a trade out of New Jersey, and
There was another
there's nothing
Czech reporter
confirmed
that has
from.
since refuted that, but it's two separate Czech reporters. It, it's hard to tell. Maybe they're one's full of shit. Maybe it's the other. Maybe both are. It's impossible to tell until Nemec really tells us. But
And I don't think he will. Like it'll be a, if whether he did or he didn't, like it's if he did it, then he did. He's not going to come out and say anything. And
yeah,
I do kind of think it's real though. Just when you look at the fact of like he is 22 now, clearly doesn't have the trust in of Sheldon Keefe like some of the other defensemen do.
you can say Luke
He,
Hughes.
he's a pen. Hmm?
You
Well,
can
Luke
say
Hughes, yeah.
Luke Hughes.
He's a
He's just
pending
stolen all his prime
RFA,
time on ice.
so not going to be able to make a lot of money in New Jersey when there's already so many other defensemen in there. And yeah, they gave a boatload of money to Luke Hughes. We don't know what's going to happen with Dougie Hamilton.
They probably want him on a bridge deal, honestly. They probably want
But
Nemec on a
again,
bridge
it's
deal, and he probably
a
wants
bridge
long
deal.
term.
I think he would take a bridge deal anywhere else but New Jersey, because you sign a 2-year bridge deal
Yeah,
with New Jersey.
that's true.
You're stuck playing third pair minutes, not really on the power play.
That's not going
Sitting
to
some
juice your
games. It's
value
like
for the long term
yeah,
contract, and
he'll
that's the
he'll have
whole
no
point of the
leverage.
bridge deal for the player. That's the
Yeah.
whole enticing point. So yeah, it's
So I think if he does resign with New Jersey, he's going to be like, no, give me long-term deal, good money, or I'm out. Because a bridge deal, I think, hurts him in New Jersey more. Like a bridge deal anywhere else, I
yeah,
think awesome. Um, but in New Jersey, again, I mean, it's just it does him no good whatsoever. So I
and it
I
doesn't do
kind of
the
think
team
it's.
having a guy that good play those minutes. Like frankly, if they're going the Luke Hughes route and that's what they want, they should trade him. Like generally, you don't want to trade great players like that, but
Mhm.
if he's not going to be your guy, like move on and get an awesome asset back. Like there's definitely a world where they can move Nemec out and get back a guy like probably not him, but like a guy like Matthew Nyes or something.
No,
Like
no, 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 no,
like
no, no,
that's an
no.
like there
No.
why no?
They've just hurt his value too much at this point. Again, like I'm still high on someone Nemec, but there's just not enough proof at the NHL level right now. And if New Jersey's going around being like, "Yeah, give us this," they'll be like, "Well, if you value him so much and he's so good, why aren't you playing him?"
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
And his value's only going to go down if they don't play him more. And they clearly have those spots earmarked for other guys. They've got a really strong blue line even without him. Like he's a good
Yeah,
player, but they're in that unique situation where this good player with all this value and potential, if they lose him, it's not going to hurt the bottom line on the blue line very much
yeah.
because they're just so deep on the blue line and most of them have no trade clauses. So moving him for a forward, I think, is the way they need to go, and I think that would be just the best for everyone involved.
I just again like I'm still high on him and everything, but yeah, I do feel
Yeah,
like his value has gone down a bit because again, it's like yeah, he is a former, second round pick, but like you also look at it that same year, 2022, David Jiricek went fifth overall, and
right.
Minnesota gave up a first and I think it was a third or something for him, and then they end up flipping him, a year later for Bobby Brink. And Bobby Brink's not a bad player, but it's like for a defenseman who went fifth overall 4 years ago,
Should be more than that.
should be more. And again, like I think Nemec is obviously a little bit more established than Jiricek, but again, it's like it's not by that much.
I think he's got like triple the value of a Jiricek. Like
Maybe.
Jiricek's played very few NHL games and like no points in a lot of them. Like
Mhm.
Nemec has, like, obviously he doesn't have those eye popping numbers. Like maybe Matthew Nyes is a bit high, but like Easton Cowan and a pick, like that could definitely like
But you say a pick, but like it's like a fifth or sixth round pick though.
I was thinking a second.
No, Toronto would say no.
They'd be
Because again,
great.
like Simone
Toronto would be
Nemec, 20,
crazy not to
20,
do a second and Cowan for Simone Nemec. That's your number one D man.
is it though?
I'd be
It's
willing to bet an Easton Cowan in a second rounder.
but if
That
you're
it
at
is.
Toronto, you can't
It's
afford to do
it's
that.
not guaranteed, but like
If you're a team like I mean, Chicago's a bad example because they're right side of the blue lines. Like a San Jose, they can afford to because they have
right.
so many picks, so many prospects. A team like Toronto, you can't really afford that because if Nemec doesn't reach that level, that's just wasted assets. And teams in that position can't really afford it. Like this year, he did have a good year: 68 games played, 11 goals, 15 assists for 26 points. The problem is, and the thing that'll go against him is only 23 hits, so not a very physical defenseman, and a 10.9 shooting percentage, which is not very sustainable for defensemen for the most part. So I'm very curious to see what, I think if you're, again, like if you're New Jersey, you go to a team like San Jose because you can probably get the most value for him because that's a team that can give up a second and a prospect. And if Nemec doesn't work out there, then it's not a huge deal to them because they're just fucking stacked with, picks and prospects. So, but again, it's
I don't
all
know.
kind of hypothetical because
I don't think a lot of teams
we
are going
don't
to
know
be
if he
looking
has
at
or
it like
not.
they're taking on much of a risk. Like I don't know. He doesn't feel like one of those guys that's as much of a gamble. Like the talent is so clearly there,
A
and
guaranteed NHL defenseman, but it's how high and up in the lineup can he go?
like I feel like he's basically a shoe in to be a top four defenseman at the basement. But like
Most likely.
I feel like it's more than likely that he's going to be, you know, uh, I'm trying to think of a good comparable. Like I don't know, a guy who's a tier above a Morgan Riley. Like I don't expect him at this point to be the next Quinn Hughes or nothing, but a number one defenseman
Well, when you're talking about number one defenseman, you're talking about,
on a
you
team.
know, logging 28 minutes a night, at minimum 60 points a season.
Like I think that's very much in
And it's
in
it's
the realm
it's
of possibility.
possible, but and that's what I'm saying though. I don't think it's a guarantee.
That's fair.
Like I'm
That's
saying
fair.
it's possible, but to me it's just it's not a guarantee because again, New Jersey just really hasn't utilized him to give any sign of that, which is why I'm saying like the return might not be as high as people think because
I'm
again, the biggest selling
My
point
thought
for him is he's
process
a
is just
second overall pick.
if the buying price is that low, I'm just like flabbergasted. He hasn't moved already. Like if the
I don't
price
think
is
it's
that
that
low, like
low, but like
how
people are
like teams
saying,
should have
like
been
people
in on
online
it.
are saying, you know, um, like a top end prospect and like a top 20 pick, and like it's
What's
like
a
that's
top
just
end
not
prospect? Like obviously he's not
um
going for a Bedard, and I mean
like
Bedard's not a prospect anymore, but
like
the Leafs aren't
a
trading the first overall
Sandin
pick.
No, like a Sandine Pellikka,
Okay.
like a uh,
And I think that's ballpark. I think if it's a guy that good, now we're in the realm of New Jersey attaches a pick, but I think it's Nemec in a third for a solidified prospect like that. Like Sandine Pellikka's not a guarantee either, right?
no,
Like,
exactly.
but
Yeah, I just think a lot of people are
it's
going to
interesting.
realize that his value's not as because again, like New Jersey's biggest thing is he's a second overall defenseman, and the counter argument's always going to be, why aren't you playing him then? If he's
Yeah.
so good and you want all this, why is he not on your blue line?
Why is he
Why were
available?
you
Why you
why were
answer
you
my call?
signing? Yeah, why were you signing? What's his name? Jonathan Kovacevic to a whatever it was, a 4-year deal with a full
They
no
signed
movement
so many defensemen, man.
before even giving Nemec a chance to play.
It makes no
Like,
sense why they signed so many defensemen and like so many of them in free agency. They weren't even like trades. It was like they went
mhm.
out and actively got all these guys and like they're all good on their own. Like they're kind of in that Toronto territory of they have a lot of contracts that are good on their own. Kovacevic for several more years at 4 mil is nice. Brendan Dillon, 2 more years at 4 mil, that's nice. Pesci for several more years at 5.5, that's awesome. All of them at once when you've got these guys being pushed out of the lineup, well, now it's, Mitch Marner was worth his cap hit. Didn't really work when 3 other guys were already making that much money.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I'm very curious to see how it goes, but again, I think, it's one eventually it's just kind of like you eventually kind of reach a point with a player when it's like the value starts to decrease and it's not the fault of the player whatsoever. It's the result of the team and the utilization
that's fair.
of him. Because again, like, yeah, it's
He's
just
he's coming off of his ELC, man. That's ridiculous.
yeah. So again, if you're now, it's like, yeah, with Sheldon Keefe coming back, like obviously, you know, you're not his guy. Bridge deal doesn't do you any good. There's no way New Jersey's going to give you a Quinn Hughes or a Luke Hughes type deal. So again, like it's not confirmed that these reports are true, but like I kind of think they are because why the fuck would he want to stay in New Jersey? Honestly,
Did he ask for a trade out last offseason, or were there just a lot of like rumors about it?
I think it was kind of a similar thing. It's actually not really similar, but like kind of on the tier of like the Austin Matthews thing, where it's like it needs to get better for him. Otherwise, he's like, yeah, just get me out of here then. Or
Right.
he's like,
Yeah. He was
wanting
like,
more playing time and
yeah,
wanting
because he
to be
wasn't
even
even
just be
getting
given a
into games,
chance.
was he?
He only
Like
played 20, was it last
27
season? Played
games last
26,
year.
27. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
So they got him into more games this
interesting
year,
to see.
68 games, but dude's freaking good. And he's 22 years old. He's a right-handed defenseman. He's exactly what so many teams are looking for, and he is just wasting away there. And it's
And
so annoying. I was so high on him the instant he was drafted. Like this is one
yeah,
guy that I've been so excited to watch blossom, and he's just suffocating in their depth chart.
and he did play 68 games, which sounds good, but then you look at it and Luke Hughes only played 68 games. Brendan Dillon, a lot of people speculate he was going to retire. He played all 82 actually, but Kovacevic only
He
played
plays a hard game
34.
as well.
Brett Pesci only played 39 or 37. Sorry, so it's like that's where Nemec was able to draw in the lineup. If you had a fully healthy Kovacevic all season and Brett Pesci, Nemec is seventh defenseman AHL type. So, but for Sheldon Keefe, I mean, overall, from where this all started, like
Yeah, for
that's
Sheldon Keefe.
again, like I don't know much to say on it. Like, sure, I mean, I don't think I'm as high on Sheldon Keefe as a lot of people kind of seem to be. Um, Again, like just the behind the scenes stuff with Toronto, I'm just like,
You
I'm
just
just
so
not a fan of it. I'm not a fan of the coach basically telling the players, "You run the show, and I'll just kind of try to guide you." I'm never liked that coaching style. Like if you're the coach,
I get the
you're
coaching
in
style in
charge. You're
certain
kind of
situations.
trying to run the ship. Um,
I get it in certain situations. That Toronto team was the last team you should be trying that with. They were
and I think New
young, they
Jersey's
were
pretty
rattled
close.
constantly. they're getting to that point. Yeah, like it's kind of letting the inmates run the asylum, and
Yeah.
like if there was a coaching vacancy in Pittsburgh, if okay, so you let Crosby, Malkin, Letang, Carlson, you let those guys kind of run the culture and stuff, but you're giving them a system that could work. If you go to Colorado, they know how to play hockey. Like you just kind of like try and maintain everything. I could see that working. That it has to be a team with a good amount of prestige and pedigree for that to work, though.
Yeah.
And even then, I don't
Then
think
New
it works
Jersey
for a
just
long
doesn't.
time. I don't think.
Yeah,
I
no.
don't think that's sustainable.
It's a short lifespan with that type. So again, like I don't love it for New Jersey. I don't hate it. They're always a fascinating team because like they should be better than where they were at. Injuries are always tough with them, obviously. Goaltending's kind of looking like a bit of a mess going into next season.
It's too bad they went
See what
out.
happens.
They got Jake Allen. They got Jacob Markstrom. We kind of thought they'd finally addressed it, and now they're going to take off, and not especially. Now they've got a 36 and a
No.
35-year-old goalie.
Yep.
So
Not ideal. But good for New Jersey, I guess. Can move on from them. Playoffs.
the playoffs. What do we want to talk about first with the playoffs? We wanted to start with Vegas, Colorado. That game happened first.
Yeah.
Vegas beats Colorado 4-2 in game one to kick off the series. No Cale Makar in this game. He did not play down the stretch of game 5 for the Avalanche. I know he started that game, and eventually at some point he left partway through. They made that insane comeback against Minnesota without him. Once I heard that, I realized that, and I was like, "Geez!" Even without him, like Brent Burns was taking his spot on the top line and stuff down the stretch, and they still came back against a great Minnesota team.
Because
Like,
Brent Burns is sick. Don't act like he's a bad player.
oh
You know
man,
who's
he
really
is
missing
sick.
Brent Burns? Carolina. Just saying. But we'll get into them. Sorry, that was just my little bit of
No,
Brent
hit him
Burns
with it.
glaze. I'm going to say something.
Go for
And
it.
I know a lot of people out there won't like it. It's understandable. Carter Hart's been fucking good as of late. Had a little bit of a rough stretch in the midst of the Utah series, but man, ever since they got out of round 1 and into round 2, 957, 971, 926, 939, 826, one off game,
Sure.
944, 969, 947.
He's been pretty
Like,
good.
for
I
a team
honestly
that
don't think he's been
their
great. It's just their
goaltending
system is
directions.
ridiculous. Their system is so good. This looks like one of those teams that can find their way to a cup because they're just coached so
Why
well.
couldn't
The way they're letting,
why couldn't goalie do it all regular season for him?
because they weren't playing the same style. The way they're opening up to allow these point shots to come in, and like I don't know if I assume it's tracked somewhere. You probably need a subscription to find these stats, but I wouldn't be shocked if Carter Hart has had to save 0 rebounds in his last like 5 games. Like the shot comes in, he makes that initial save, and there's so many guys, the centerman, the defenseman, they are all so ready to get that puck the fuck out of there. Like they're allowing these shots, but it's from distance, it's coming in clean, very few deflections. He makes the first save, which isn't too bad, and then they just handle it. Their defensive play has been unreal, and Carter Hart's been good. Carter Hart has been good. There's no two ways about it, but I've been
Like, it's
so
obviously
impressed by their
the
defensive
team has
system.
been good as a whole, but like again, you throw a bunch of goalies in there, and I don't think they're putting up these level of numbers. Like, and then especially to go up against this Colorado team, and like he got tested good and only allowed 2 goals on 38 shots, and I mean, you can't even really fault him on the second one. Like Nathan McKinnon coming in man on a mission to set up Landeskog, like there's nothing a goalie.
What
can
are you
do.
supposed to do about that?
It's similar to Connor McDavid when he gets going and sometimes one of those ones of like they're gonna score. There's nothing I can do. It's what the best players in the world do. They take over the game for a split second, and before you know it,
Yeah,
it's behind you. But absolutely, yeah, it is, in part of how good um, Vegas has been playing defensively.
yeah.
And
Especially since William Karlsson came back. Man, they
yeah,
for a third line center, is he important?
him getting
Like,
traded for future considerations is going to be nuts when the playoffs is over. They're just going to have to dump him.
they might
Because
have to.
Pavel Dorofeyev is going to get fucking paid as an RFA. Already up to 10
Sure
goals
is.
now in the playoffs.
Brett Howden's coming for him.
Brett Howden at 9.
Brett
Like,
Howden,
that's
who has 3
ridiculous.
shorthanded goals in the playoffs already, that is tied for the all-time record in a single postseason run, with a couple
Wow.
other guys at 3. If he gets another one, he stands alone.
Wow. And
That's
Dorofeyev, 10 goals, 13 games. In the
jeez.
playoffs,
A
that
lot
is
of
where you
impressive
make
goals
the
too,
most money. Yeah. Like we were
like
talking about Alex Tuck
just
and,
torching goalies.
a guy that was rumored to be asking for 10 mil. Well, can you ask for 10 mil a season after going pointless in a 7-game series in round 2? Probably not. Dorofeyev, can you ask for 10
I
mil a
think he
season
will,
after
but
being damn near someone will pay him that, but like, is he worth it? I'm going to say no
exactly.
right now
Like I think
because,
it's just because the free agent class is so thin.
yeah. But Dorofeyev,
He cost himself money,
you know,
100%.
damn near goal per game in the playoffs.
He's
Yeah,
making
that's going to
himself
get
a
you
lot of money.
paid. And you're an RFA. So, and that's the beauty of it. Like, he can hold out on Vegas until they offer him something and then just go be an RFA, wait for a great offer to come in. You take it, and it's either Vegas says no and you go there, or Vegas says, yeah, you're guaranteed that.
Yeah.
It's not like a UFA. You go to free agency and maybe there's no suitors and you gotta settle, right? Like
I still think these teams are just too afraid of pissing off the other GMs and stuff. Like, man, what? Why wouldn't Vancouver offer sheet this guy for? eh, Would Dorofeyev accept a 5-year contract at 13 mil?
but why would Vancouver do that?
Because they can retain 4 mil on him. Now he's at 9 mil, and then you can send him anywhere for a huge profit.
But then
Like,
you're also in the middle of a rebuild,
I
and
guess
now Vegas has your next 4
Vancouver
first round
specifically is
picks.
bad because you're giving away the first rounders. I guess it would have
Yeah,
to be a team that's a little higher up. Mm, I don't think Columbus has the cap space, but
that's the thing. Yeah, a lot of dead cap on your thing.
there's a there's so many GMs that are just afraid of rocking the boat. It's why I was a little annoyed at uh what is it, Doug Armstrong. He just absolute savage mode. We never see it. Just 2 offer sheets same day. Absolutely dunks on Stan Bowman. And then I can't remember what the trade was afterwards, but didn't he like give up a pick for future considerations to Edmonton? Didn't he like extend an olive branch afterwards, being like, "Hey, sorry for like fleecing the shit out of you"? Like, I'd have
There's
to look it
something
up,
vaguely
but
similar. I can't. I'll
I'd
try
have
and
to.
find it. I'll try and
Yeah,
I'll try and find it here.
but yeah, it's
Um, I think offer
offer sheets
sheets
are so fun.
might come back though. I think now that like the cap's going to be going up more, and um,
GMs are
looking
just
at
getting
players
more
who want to
creative as
get
well,
paid. Like
which is
I
nice.
think I think yeah, I think it's going to start to become more of a thing again. Again, maybe not to like the same crazy extent, but
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It's not every year you're gonna get two two of them happening against one team from the same team, but like, man, it'd be crazy not to like try and try and offer something to this guy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, so August 20th, 2024. Edmonton got defenseman Paul Fisher and a third round pick for future considerations.
Like, there's no way that guy had an anchor of a contract worth paying a pick to get rid of. It was a hey, sorry for fleecing your dick off in the offer sheets, trying to keep the peace a little bit.
I almost wonder that's a tough one though, because looking at like that does St. Louis no favors. I almost wonder if it's one of those things of like they reached out and they're like, hey, if you don't, match this, we'll give you this extra bit. So it's almost kind of like a bit of a trade. They didn't necessarily have to, but maybe it is, maybe that's part of the Dylan Holloway one, because that one still just blows my mind that Edmonton didn't match Dylan Holloway at 2.29 for 2 years at 22 years old. That one's just so bizarre to me that I kind of feel like
I
St. Louis
can't
said,
believe
hey,
Stan Bowman still has a job.
well, Stan Bowman wasn't in there at the time.
I think he was.
Maybe it was. Oh, maybe he was. Actually, maybe that's right when he came in. Yeah, but I do wonder if maybe that was
right
kind of like a.
It was pretty
hey,
fresh.
Don't. Yeah, like don't qualify Holloway, and we'll give you a prospect and an extra pick as well. And maybe if they didn't do that, then maybe Edmonton's like, all right, we'll match it.
Stan Bowman was sitting there thinking, good, that's what we need. Like, he was in win now mode.
Yeah, he's definitely not a yeah, Bowen's not a good GM by any means.
Yeah, Bowman came in July 24th, 2024, and then the RFA signings happened
a couple weeks later.
Yeah,
because I was in like out of nowhere in August.
Yeah,
that was August, an exciting time.
most we had going on in August in quite a while in the NHL.
But shows how much we know. Picking Colorado in 5, and I don't think they're taking 4 straight on this Vegas team. Don't know the status of Makar and where he's at.
This isn't the first time he sat out in these playoffs either, which is rough because you can't lose a guy like that and just keep humming along the way you were. Hopefully he can deal with whatever it is. Hopefully they were just really optimistic about this series and figured, you know what, even if we lose, we can handle a game. Like, just trying to make sure Makar's as healthy as possible.
Yeah, Vegas looked good.
Vegas handled him. Vegas freaking handled him. And like,
I mean, Colorado did outshoot him 38-28, but again, like, that's not really Vegas's style of going out and beating you in the, the shot department. It kind of reminds me very similar to the New York Islanders, during the kind of the COVID years when they went to back-to-back Eastern Conference Finals.
Barry Trotz.
There's a lot of, we'll let the other team shoot all down us, but we're just going to keep it perimeter. We're going to keep it, nice and easy. We're not going to allow anyone in front, and then we'll translate that to opportunities. And when we get our offensive chances, we'll bury them. And again, like it reminds me a lot of the way Vegas is going now. Of they know their game. They don't get rattled easy. They don't get thrown off. They just stick with it. And they faced a little bit of adversity with Utah. They stuck with it, got them through. Same thing with Anaheim.
They're one of the only teams that has looked Colorado significantly better as the playoffs have gone.
Yeah.
Like the Avalanche. The Avalanche look good, but they don't look better than the bar was President's Trophy level team, right? But like they don't look better now. The Canes were good all year. They're good in the playoffs. It's about the same. It's more of the same. Vegas, like they look better than they had most of the year coming into the playoffs. They looked a little shaky, but they got the job done against Utah, and they've just gotten better all throughout the Anaheim series and up to now. I do want Colorado to win this series, but like I would love to see a 7-game series between Vegas and Carolina, just because their whole thing is we're going to make them do perimeter shots. What's Carolina's whole thing? Let's take 1,000,000 perimeter shots. Is Carolina the perfect foil to their plan, or is it Vegas is the perfect foil to the Hurricanes' plan? Like, I have no idea, but it'd be fun to see.
I was gonna say something, and now I'm blanking.
I hate what I was going to say,
and it was fuck, and it was gonna be so good too. I felt like
so good.
Shit, what was I? Fuck.
Did it have to do with Barry Trotz hockey?
No. Oh, yeah. It kind of seemed like the writing was on the wall towards near the end of the regular season. Again, like great season by Utah and Anaheim, but I never really had the belief that either of them were going to make it to the Western Conference Final with Vegas and Edmonton there. And when you looked at Vegas and Edmonton down this,
but that's as far as my
Yeah.
imagination went. As soon as they run into any of the Central Division, the three-headed dragon of the Central Division, I was like, they can't beat any of them.
Yeah, for me, it was really always it was either going to be Vegas or Edmonton. Who's it going to be? And it was a tale of two teams. You look at Vegas, and it was the deeper they go, the better they were going to get. Whereas you look at Edmonton and kind of how the situation there, and with some injuries, it was like the deeper they go, the worse they're going to get. Like,
yeah,
Edmonton could have looked dominant in round one, pretty good in round two, but again, with the injuries and whatnot and the goaltending, it was like the further they go, it's just going to become worse and worse for them. Like, to the point where, game one of Anaheim, and you already had a couple guys get injured and were out for game two, and McDavid, obviously, like that injury wasn't going to heal the longer playoffs went on. And so, it's Vegas was the team to get there, and yeah, like they're just looking better and better. Like, this looks like a completely different team than game one against Utah. This team just feels so different, and you can clearly see their identity. And Mitch Marner, I mean, just continuing to do his thing, leading the playoffs in points with 19. Next closest is Eichel at 16.
And that's impressive. A guy they're probably sharing a lot of points probably as well, like on the power play and stuff. I don't know if they're playing 5-on-5 together.
No,
they're
probably
not.
They're separate lines, yeah.
But like,
I believe.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Marner's playing center still.
Jack Eichel only one goal in the playoffs, though.
You know what? I've seen a lot of people heaping praise on him, and I have a little bit of a bone to pick with that, because regardless of how many points he's putting up, people could not stop ripping Kucherov for not scoring goals. You look at Jack Eichel's hockey DB, it's a very similar stat line of like the points, hell yeah, I'll take that. The goals, well, it's like 1s and 2s. Right?
Yeah.
Like, and of course, they're different players in different situations. Eichel's also a center and more two-way oriented, but
doesn't matter.
I remember seeing that a couple days ago and thinking it was funny.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I mean, it's the same way as I've been critical of, Cole Caulfield. I mean, he did get a 5-on-5 goal tonight, but it's, again, we can't just be like, oh, they're a good player and, let these things go by. It's like, if you're a top end player, you're,
nobody's infallible.
Yeah. I mean, the assistant points obviously
even
nice,
Gretzky had it, lost it.
Yeah.
Like, if Gretzky can cost his team a series, anyone can. Nobody's phenomenal all the time and never has a game off. Even McDavid gets blanked in Game 7 of the Cup final.
Yeah. Colorado, though. Interesting stat line here. Every single player on the Avs recorded a shot on goal, except for Jack Akin. He's the defenseman replacement to come in for Makar, obviously not playing in Makar's role. He only played 734, but he did have a hit and 2 blocks. But aside from him, every player on the Avalanche recorded a shot on goal, which I think is pretty...
That's a good mentality for a team to have. Like, I feel like that's a very positive thing to look at and be like, okay, like, we don't have anyone who's too pass first and afraid to be the guy to let it go. Like,
yeah,
Brett Kulak, you're not leaning on him for goal scoring support. He's not afraid to shoot it, and every once in a while he's going to bury a couple. Like, that's
I mean, if I'm, a Colorado fan, I'm not worried right now. Like, again, it does suck to lose game one.
They've earned not being worried yet.
Yeah, this is a team still that, it's one game. You didn't have Makar, which definitely hurts, but,
Conn Smythe winner.
Again, like, I thought at times Colorado, did look good. And again, they proved
they outshot them. There's a lot of things to like about them.
They made it a 3-2 game and had some good chances to tie it. And it's like, shit, are they going to go back-to-back games being down 3-0 and tied up with two quick goals late in the third? Like,
and who would have been shocked if they did it, right?
Like, I wouldn't have.
Man, they they have that intangible veteran presence that they love talking about on Sports Center and on TNT. Like, there's so many teams that, like, oh, they're down by a goal. Okay, start of the third period. Let's see how it goes. All of a sudden, 10 minutes go by, and you're like, why is everyone playing like it's the fucking first period? What's going on? And then, like, the final 6 minutes, the team clearly is like, oh shit, we're running out of time. We got to go. No, man, the Avalanche go out there. Anytime they're not leading a game, they're playing like it's the final 5 minutes. Like,
Yeah,
they look possessed. Like,
yeah,
this, yeah, yeah. If you're going to the third period and have a 3-goal lead on them, I'm not feeling confident about it until that timer's a lot lower.
yeah. But yeah, for right
So
now for Colorado, again, I'm not worried for them. If tomorrow they lose game 2 and go down 2-0 and go into Vegas, then yeah, maybe it's starting to get a little bit scary.
that's a
But
problem.
again, all they got to do is go tomorrow and win, and they'll be back and comfortable. So that'll be a big game for them, obviously for Vegas. That'd be huge to go up 2-0 and
It's already huge
take
that
it
they
back
took one
home.
in Colorado even.
Yeah,
Like,
and
I
if you
think
can
they'd be
steal a
fine
second
splitting
one,
games there.
absolutely, absolutely, and yeah, it's just even better if you take a 2-0 lead on them and bring it back home. But yeah, big game tomorrow, so we'll see what happens there. Over to the East.
Mark Stone, he didn't play in
Didn't play.
this game, right? So
Yeah,
they
didn't play.
also did that without their captain. He's
Yeah,
clearly not, he's not like some teams. He's not their best player night in, night out, but he's generally a pretty important part of their team
very
offensively
effective
and
player.
defensively. So,
Yeah, and just on the bench in general as well.
yeah, being able to do that kind of stuff without him is just even more impressive. I know
Yeah,
we've already glazed him, both guys involved, a good bit, but man, that Marner pass to the Dorofeyev goal was that.
money.
It's not going to make a ton of highlight reels because there's not like one insane move, but just the wherewithal to just pick it up and just sling it behind him. Like, man, that's one of those plays where it's like no player that's not elite is making that play.
Yeah,
Like, every once in a while, you get a Owen Tippett highlight reel goal, and it's like that's awesome. But like, any guy really feeling himself might be able to pull that off. Nah, that type of play is like gamers only.
yeah.
Dorofeyev, man, he just keeps beating goalies clean. He's just a freaking
Got a
shooter,
hell
man.
of a shot. Yeah, just a born sniper. Over to the
But
East though.
let's go to the East.
But, I mean, Montreal laying the beat down on Carolina.
Fat beat down on him.
6-2, the final score in game 1 in Carolina.
It's so crazy because the Canes did exactly the one thing I thought they needed to do to win this game. Uh, in my mind, I was like, they've had so much time to rest that you got to wonder if they're going to get rusty or, just we've seen it in the past where like these teams get a sweep and then they just have too much time off. They don't look the same coming back. And they go out there and they get a goal within the first 4 minutes, I think. Like,
They scored in 33 seconds in.
oh no, wait. Yeah, that was 30 seconds in. I think it was in the second period they scored
Second period.
a couple minutes in.
Yeah.
Um, but I was like, they got to get a jump on this. They can't let it get out of there. Like, get feeling yourself early, and it'll all come back. And they did exactly that. And for the rest of the first period, they got fucking pummeled. They
Yeah, Cole Caulfield responded quick, and then yeah, by the time you're 8 minutes left in the first period, you're down 4-1. And they
I
hadn't
can't
allowed more
believe
than
how many
3 goals
breakaways.
against in a game all playoffs. And just
Yeah.
like that, they allowed 4 in the first period. 4 in the span of 10.5 minutes.
They let up more breakaways and odd man rushes in this game than I think I've seen them do in any one game this entire season. Like regular season or playoffs. Like, they're
They just
so
looked
good at blocking that
off.
usually. And yeah, like,
They just looked bad.
And that's the thing, like, people are like, "Yeah, but Rod the Bod's got him in shape. They're not gonna have that rust going back in." And it's like, well, maybe they're all at peak physical condition. Maybe it's not that, but you haven't been in that mental game state for like 2 full weeks. Like, it's
Hmm.
you gotta do a little bit of a mental reset as well, and it's tough. Like, what was Jacob Slavin's stat line tonight? Like, he wasn't having a great night, at least in that first period. He kind of picked it up later on, stopped a couple plays, but
Slavin, he ended up
is he a
-4.
-3, -4, -4? Like, Jacob Slavin, dude, that's your guy. What are you talking about? Like, it's
Yeah.
it was very obvious throughout
He
the game that Carolina still has so much skill. Some of the moves they were making in the neutral zone are like, to not everyday, like, not constant hockey watchers, are like, they're just kind of going through the neutral zone. But like, to the nerds like us who are watching so much hockey, it's like some of the little one touch passes are like, damn, they move so smooth. Yeah, they just got to shore up their defense, which is not what I thought I'd be saying about them
Yeah,
after
Slavin was a
game 1.
-4. His partner Chatfield -3. Stankoven and Blake -3, and Taylor Hall was a -2. So that's your three forwards that's been your best line in the first 2 rounds. Your top defensive pairing
I was gonna
just
say
got
that's
pummeled, and this goes
that's
back
probably the
to
best news it could be. Like, it'd be rough if everyone had a bad night, but like, nobody's
well,
okay.
everyone did
Bad
have a
game,
bad night.
yeah, but like, it was a lot on those guys, and like, nobody's looking at Slavin like, oh shit. Hopefully he doesn't. Fingers crossed he doesn't have a -4 next game. Like, nobody expects that to happen to Slavin again, right? Like, what? It's some of their best performers in these playoffs that had those games, and I think they've kind of earned that game off. And you can
Yeah,
hopefully, if you're a Canes fan, expect them to bounce back next game.
yeah, and this goes back to what I was saying in round two. They Carolina was looking very good. They ended up going 8-0 in the first 2 rounds. But again, I said they have had the easiest path
Yeah,
so far between Ottawa and Philly. And I said, yes, they're good, but at the same time, they haven't faced adversity yet. And we haven't seen how they respond to it. And, with Colorado, we at least got to see that, especially in game 5 against Minnesota. You go down 3-0, they come back to win. Carolina goes up 1-0 early, 30 seconds later, tied up. 3 minutes later, they're now down 2-1. And then it just snowballed. They just got run over the remainder of the first period pretty much. And it's like,
yeah.
all right, rough first period. We'll just say it's maybe rust. We'll see what they can do. Come out to start the second period. Looked good. Got a goal, 3 minutes in. All right.
They
So
had a lot of chances as well.
there's still, 30, 38 minutes left in the game, 37 minutes. If you're only down by 2, you can come back. They pushed pretty good in the second period. And in the third period, they
I can't believe they didn't get another goal in
came
the
out
second.
flat.
They had a
Yeah.
lot of pressure, like
But the
sustained
way they
pressure.
played
The
that
crowd was getting
second
loud
period,
just off of cycles and forechecks. Like, the
Mhm.
crowd was buzzing, and it was like just guys maintaining the puck in the zone for extended time. Like, it really felt like the puck was destined for the back of the net, but it just never happened.
And
Like,
I had the
the
feeling
Habs
after the
bend kept
second
a break.
period, um, similar to the Buffalo Montreal game, game 7, where Buffalo was just rolling in the second period. And then when they were down by a goal going into the third, and we were kind of talking, we were like, Buffalo's going to tie this. If they
Yeah,
come out going the way they work, they're going to tie it. And
yeah.
I kind of had the same feeling with Carolina. It's like, keep this momentum from the second period rolling and steamroll them, or at least tied up. Carolina went 18 minutes and 38 seconds in the third period without a shot on goal. They came out flat.
You're not gonna win a game when you're trailing by 2 goals, and for a little
Almost the
little
entire third
nap
period,
little napkin math, let's say around 95% of the final period, you don't have a shot.
you're not
You're
going to
not
win.
gonna score. You're not
Not
gonna
going to
win.
win. And I do give Montreal a lot of credit. I think they learned a pretty good lesson from game 1 against Buffalo of they just came out flat. and they started to put it together in the back half of game one, but they just came out flat. And they took that and they used what they learned there and applied it to this game tonight, and they came out flying. They came out good. And it carried them all the way through. You know, I thought at times Carolina looked like the much better team. At times I thought Montreal did, but for the most part, from what I saw in game one, Montreal just wanted it more.
Yeah.
Montreal, I'm not even going to say on Carolina it's the rust thing. You know what? Whatever. You had so much rest. You guys are healthy. This is a team that just went through 2 7-game series, and they had way more energy still than you did.
I don't know if you know anywhere to look for the stat, if this is a stat that's available.
Probably not, but we'll see.
Do you know if there's anywhere we can see like hits broken down by period? I would love to see the Carolina Hurricanes hit amount in the second period compared to the other two. Because, man, in that second period, especially Jordan Staal, they were hitting everybody. They were crunching them on the boards. They were finishing every hit. They didn't really care if it was a little late. And I think, they have so much rest they can do that. And these Canadians players have been playing so much. This is their 15th game in the playoffs already. They're freaking tired, man. And we've seen it. We saw it at points against Tampa. We saw it even more against the Sabres. Like, they're exhausted. And when they're getting hit, it takes that toll even more. And I think that helped them get a lot of pressure for Carolina. And then, eventually they were like, okay, but we do have to score the goals, because they didn't end up getting any off their pressure. And then they stopped hitting, and then they stopped getting shots. They stopped having that momentum. Like, I think as the very fresh team versus the very battle worn down team, they really got to lean on their physicality a bit and try and use that to
I can't
the
see
advantage.
The hits per period. I'm having a hard time finding it. But the final hits were 44-18 in favor of Carolina.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if 35 of them came in the second period. Like, there were a lot of guys out there just being a wrecking ball.
Mm-hmm.
But
let's see here.
They just needed to bury one and get a little more momentum. They had one great play. I think it was Hall passed it to Jarvis, and he just walked right into the slot unguarded and just one-on-one versus Dobesh. And I don't remember if he hit the outside of the post or maybe Dobesh got the blocker on it, but like,
okay, I got it. So what I say
close.
Carolina had for hits in the total game? 44. Guess how many they had in the second period?
44. Let's go 33.
31.
31. Okay. So my eye test was doing some numbers.
If Carolina can play this series the way they played in the second period, they're gonna wipe Montreal.
So obviously doing that across the whole game is 93 hits. Okay, you're probably not doing that over the whole game. What if it's 75? What if it's even 70? Like, that's still exhausting. A hit a minute or more? Good God, that's gotta suck. They got some.
And then eventually gets to the point when all you got to do is get across center ice, dump it in. Doesn't matter what defenseman it is in Montreal. They're just going to turn and fire it and get away because they're going to be like, I don't want to get hit again.
And
the shit's fucking exhausting. I'm sore. I'm hurting.
There was a couple times where the puck was coming in. There was at least one where Caden Gooley went to pick it up. He shoulder checked. Oh, fuck. Here comes big-ass Jordan Staal again. And he just fucking rimmed it around, and it went straight to Stankoven. Or whoever else was there. Like, he just completely gave it away because he didn't want to take another hit. Because he'd already been hit like 3 times on that shift. Like, that's what they got to do. That's their advantage, not just as a team and the makeup of the roster, but how the playoffs have gone. They're so fresh, they can afford to do this. The Habs, they're worn down. Like, it's the physicality's got to be where they get that extra edge. And if they go over the tapes, they'll clearly figure it out.
Yeah. Montreal was the better team tonight. I thought Carolina was very underwhelming from what we were expecting from them, given 8-0. You have all this rest, and you're a fully rested team. You're fully healthy, no injuries that we know of. And I can't even say fully came out flat. They came out and they got a goal early, but then Montreal pushed back a bit, and Carolina just could not respond. They just
And
continued to
props to
get
the
rolled
Habs,
over, and that's yeah,
obviously.
absolutely,
I mean,
absolutely. They brought it tonight, and
they just
100%
owned them in
deserved
the
to win
first.
this game.
Yeah, owned them in the first period, and then we're talking about how much pressure they had in the second period. They only got the one goal in the second period scored
Yeah.
against them, so
They weathered the storm
they
perfectly.
weathered it. Yeah,
That's all they had to do.
it'll be interesting to see how it goes.
Again, very similar to Colorado. It's Carolina goes out and wins game 2. All is good. Even series now, you take it into Montreal, but again, if you lose that game 2, you're in trouble.
So
yeah, I did not expect this series to be the higher scoring one so far. I mean, and it is only 2 goals more, but like, if you told me if I didn't watch either game and you told me, hey, one series is 5 goals in the first period and the other one was
yeah,
0, I'd be like, oh, Colorado Vegas is the 5 goals in the first period.
Yeah,
like this
the
series
Avs probably hung up
the way
4
I
on them, and
expected.
then Vegas got 1 back or something. Nope, apparently
Yeah.
not. I have a
Great game
fun
by
question
Montreal,
for
though.
you here,
Yeah.
because I love doing this. 989 regular season games played, 787 points over his career. So a good bit under a point per game, but he's still producing well. 302 goals, just cracked 300 at the end of the season. Very nice. And a Hart Trophy. Taylor Hall, a guy that, despite having a Hart Trophy, I don't think many people are earmarking for the Hall of Fame. He's having himself a freaking playoffs. If this guy were to win, he would have to improve his play, obviously, a little bit more still. If he were to win a Conn Smythe Trophy and a Stanley Cup this year, is he a Hall of Famer?
I had this conversation with someone a couple days ago, and my answer was confidently no.
Confidently
Just
no.
based on this alone, no. Now, if he wins the Conn Smythe and then has a couple more years where he's really dominant and good, sure, absolutely, yeah. But the guy can't be in the Hall of Fame because one good regular season, one good playoff run. It's just not enough for me. It's got to be more across a full career. And now if he, and he signed with Carolina, so if he sticks around there because how old is Taylor Hall?
34, I want to say. 34.
I was going to say 33, 34. So if he sticks around with Carolina for a couple more years, more good regular seasons, more good playoff runs and good numbers, I think it's a conversation. But yeah, I can't say a guy, I can't confidently say Hall of Fame when
obviously this
it's
is
very
not
similar to
a massive thing. Does his back-to-back championships in the OHL with the Spitfires, does that add anything for you? Because we're already talking about like a kind of a borderline case, right? But
no, for me, no. But again, like there's still time for him to totally, if he wins a Conn Smythe this year and has a good, rest of his career, then it's definitely a conversation. But
right.
Again, just when you look at that time from when he won the Hart in New Jersey to now, this year with Carolina, like it was a lot of kind of dog shit in the middle. Bouncing from Arizona where it didn't really fit in there, then Buffalo, then Boston, then Chicago, and then finally to Carolina. It's
Did
those
he
years
just
in the
have
middle
a
is
shit
like
ton of
really
injury problems?
He has throughout his career, yeah.
I never really thought of him as a guy that had a ton, but like he won the Hart Trophy in 17-18, 93 points in 76 games. It's a bit of a different era, all right. Don't judge him too much. He still won the Hart. But after that, 33 games played. Next year, 30 games played. Next year, 35 games played.
Well, no,
He's
that 30 and 35
he's been traded in here.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was just noticing that. So yeah, so the year after he did only play 33, but then he played 65 the next year, split between 2 teams, and then 37 and 37 for the Sabres and 16 for the Bruins. So that's still, I don't even think cracking 60 there. So He had a couple years where he didn't get into a ton of games there,
Mm-hmm.
which is too bad because that a lot of that's right after his Hart Trophy. Maybe if he doesn't get those injuries, it's a little different story. But at least
Absolutely. Yeah.
he's revitalized his career um, in Carolina very well, and
Yeah.
that all started back when he went to Boston. So good for him for doing that and being great in these playoffs. That line of him,
They're very
Stankoven, and
good.
Jackson Blake is really good.
But they got to figure it out against Montreal because
Yeah.
Montreal zoned in on them and dominated them. So something to keep an eye on with those. Anything else from this game?
Um,
I think I covered all my
are
main
we
points.
not for this game specifically? I guess just another Hurricanes thing. But like, what's going on with Sebastian Aho? He's never been upper tier elite, but he's always been elite. But he's always kind of been that poster child of consistency. So consistently leading that team in goals or points, and every year they get to the playoffs. Like, look at these numbers in the playoffs, dating back to 18-19, 12 points, 12 points, 11 points, 11 points, 12 points, 12 points, 15 points. This year, 5 points in 9 games.
Not good enough.
That's like a
Not good.
50-point
But
pace
again,
over 82. That's
that's
the other lines are picking it up, but you still got to be one of the best players on your team, or it's not going to
yeah.
happen.
And that's one of those things I always kind of, would bring up with Carolina and how much it sucked with like the Rantanen thing. And, kind of did work out a bit because you got those first round picks, which you should be trading, you shouldn't be drafting, you should be in win now
Yeah,
mode. And you did get Stanko, was good, but you look at all the recent cup winners, they've all
they got a
got a
game
star
breaker.
player up front. Yeah. The Barkovs or Kachuk or the Reinhardt. I mean, fuck, whoever you want to pick from Florida, the
Yeah.
Kucherovs, the McKinnons, the Eichels, the Crosbys, the Ovechkins. St. Louis was a bit of a weird one, but I mean that was just a fucking team of destiny at that point. Jordan
The exception,
Binnington.
not the rule.
We'll just say fuck. That was the
Pat Maroon,
star there. And Pat Maroon, big game
series
7.
clinching goals.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, then you just look at Carolina. It's like, yeah, like, who is your best player, but just doesn't put up those game-breaking numbers in the playoffs that you expect those guys to. And he's got to be better
to get those guys, man. Like, it's not for a lack of trying; they just can't seem to keep him around. Like, they bring in Jake Gensel, and he was insane for them in that time from the trade
Phenomenal.
acquisition to the playoffs, and then great in the playoffs. And
yeah,
then he says, "Fuck, I'm out of here." Like, he doesn't want it. And Rantanen gets traded there, and he spends.
Rantanen wanted out before he
Like,
even landed there.
Like, he played like 6 games there or something, and then was like, "All right, like, can I
He's like, get me out of
can
here.
I go now?" Like,
Yeah.
they
tried to
can't
trade
seem
for
to convince
Marner,
these
and
guys.
Marner said no. It's a tough spot for them. But again, like you've kind of made your bed with Sebastian Aho as your guy, at least for this year. He's got to get it going. Jarvis is a good player. Svechnikov, I'm hot and cold on him.
He's just a hot and cold player.
That second line. We've talked about them a bunch, and that's fine. Aho's got to get it going.
Yeah, you can't be a half a point per game player as the number one center, and you can still go far in the playoffs. I have a tough time believing they're gonna win the cup without him picking up his play a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's gonna when all is said and done, Sebastian Aho, I can just tell he's gonna be one of those guys that has just like a sneaky underrated career. This guy's already over 700 points. He's 28.
Yeah.
Like, he's one of those guys where people are in a quite a few more years, people are gonna be like, is he a Hall of Famer? And then they'll look and they'll be like, oh shit, he's got 1,200 points. Like, he's racked them up quick.
Gotta get some awards, though. Gotta get some awards. That's it for the playoffs. Games 1 and 2, or games 1 in both series are wrapped up, and games every day now until at least one series ends. So that is good news for us hockey fans. Hockey every night is what we live for. It's what we
Yeah.
love. Anything else we got here? I don't have the thing, but I feel like we're
That's about it. Other than we do have the PWHL news, I suppose. The Montreal Victoire becoming the first Canadian team to win the Walter
yes.
Cup. Congratulations to them. They beat the Ottawa Charge in 4 games. Oh man, I don't know if I've ever seen a bigger ball buster goal in a game. They're up 1-0, and there's like what 10 minutes left. Like I think they're in the final 10 at that point. There's like 8 minutes left, and they take a penalty. Their captain, MPP, Captain Clutch, takes a penalty. The Charge go on the power play, and Abby Rock, I believe it was, who scored the first goal as well. Just McDavid's that shit. Just takes it freaking all the way down the ice, beats the poor forward who was trying to play defense and trying to backskate, goes around him, outweights the goalie with insane patience, scores. Now there's no time left in the game. They're up 2-0, and it's the PWHL. For those who don't remember, they have the jailbreak rule. So Captain Clutch is now out of the box, and they're up 2-0. That, man, what a ball buster. That's got to be so deflating for the Charge, but it was awesome to see. And yeah, congrats to the Victoire.
Yeah.
Hell of a playoff run.
I think that was I think that last game was kind of their biggest, like beat down out of all their games. Round one. I mean, it is only 2 rounds, but like the first round against Minnesota, like that was close right all the way through. The first 3 games were close battles between these teams, and then like that final game, I mean, it was kind of like their biggest beatdown. But it's like it wasn't even much. Like it was just close games all the way through, and a team like Montreal that in those close games, found a way to come out on top in the end, is impressive, and that's what you need in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Win those close
through.
games and come up clutch when it matters most. If you're able to do that on a nightly basis, pretty much for them, you're going to be a successful team, and it'll win you the Walter Cup.
And I mean, obviously the league hasn't been around that long, and the league started when she was already getting older. But it is really nice to see Marie-Philippe Poulin get a Walter Cup at least once before she's done. She's still got quite a couple years left, but we never had to have those discussions, and that's good because I didn't want to.
Fair enough. Yeah, absolutely.
You never like to see those legends getting okay. Now they're not quite the dominant player they were. Now they're not a top line player. Now they're a top 6 player, and they're still looking for a championship. Like it sucks when it starts getting to that point. So
no, absolutely. Absolutely. I
got
we're getting to the tail end of the episode.
I got one other thing we can talk about if we want. It's a little more coaching stuff. The Edmonton Oilers have been granted permission to talk to Craig Berube, I believe. Or did they even need permission? I don't know. He either way, I'm pretty sure Craig Berube talked to the Edmonton Oilers about their coaching vacancy, and that's certainly an interesting fit for them.
That could be an interesting hire there. I don't know what to make of that.
It's weird because I feel like he doesn't really fit their roster makeup anymore. I feel like he would have fit that roster that went to the Cup final. Yeah, like the first Cup final run. Like I feel like he would have been able to make champions out of that. But losing all the guys, just those depth pieces. Like he would have loved Warren Fogle. He would have loved Ryan McLeod.
Evander Kane.
Did I do the Corey right McLeod Perry. That time?
Like, yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it definitely would have been a better fit back then. Um,
If they make the right moves this offseason,
yeah.
it could definitely still work. But like,
I think their plan is ultimately to try and get Bruce Cassidy whenever they get permission to eventually talk to him. I think that is their number one goal in terms of a coach. But Berube would be interesting.
I'm very
I don't know how that
interested to
would
see
go.
what happens on that coaching front because the Vegas Golden Knights are within their right to not have Bruce Cassidy interview for other jobs, but that's not how the NHL has done it in the past. And, they have their written rules, but we know the king of all things in the NHL is, I don't know, how have we fucking done it? And what's the vibe? What's the
Hmm.
culture? And I do not think Gary Bettman is happy at all with them uh not letting him talk to these other teams and do that. And I think that factored into a little bit of the him immediately shutting down them getting their pick back in the media thing where they got Tortorella got fined 100K and they lost their second rounder. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's the main reason, but like two things pissed him off, and he can slap them together and give him one big punishment. Like, I wonder how much internal pressure there is being put on the Golden Knights org right now to like, can you guys just stop fucking around and let this not be a thing? Like, because like Bruce Cassidy was on one of the pregame shows. I think he was on the pregame show of Vegas Avs game one, and he talked about how he hasn't been allowed to interview for some of these jobs. Like he's like talking about it publicly. Like I want to interview for these openings and I'm not allowed to. And like it's hard to feel too bad
Hmm.
for him because he's probably making like 5 sheets a year or something to at the moment not do anything. But
Yeah.
still he's wanting to look for the work and not able to. And I think everyone else is annoyed, and I think Vegas is going, well, the rules say we can, so what are you going to do about it? And
Yeah. No, that is true. Yeah.
fair play to them, but at the same time, you piss Bettman off enough, like fine. If I can't get you for this, but the next time you do anything we don't like, we're the ones setting the punishment. Like
Yeah.
the NHL gets their pound of flesh at minimum. So I'm very interested to see if if Vegas keeps pissing off the brass.
And they kind of just do whatever the fuck they want, and yeah, typical
They
Vegas.
really do. And
They really do.
you know what? You can't say they're not trying. I'd rather
Yeah.
have that. I would much rather have their management than Vancouver's.
Oh
Like
yeah, absolutely. Because it's a team that wants to win.
they
They'll
want to
they'll do
win.
whatever
They're
it takes
trying.
to win, and yeah,
Yeah. So we'll see if that goes anywhere. See if Vegas pisses them off again. Tortorella, just
possible.
man. No matter where he goes, there's always something going on. Like,
Yeah.
so it's gonna suck when he finally retires for real. Uh, I don't even love his coaching style a ton, but like, yeah, it makes it more
He makes it
entertaining league.
entertaining.
The league is
Yeah.
more entertaining when he's around. So,
Yeah. No,
but
absolutely.
I don't think I have much else. If we want to get on to the game, assuming we have a game set up for this week.
So I tried really hard for this one
Oh,
to work, and I just
shit.
cannot. I could not find a way to make this one work, and I'm so upset. I came up with another "What's the connection?" very similar to what we did earlier this week. But the more I look, I tried to make it work, and I just look at it, I'm like, it's just impossible. It would just be
It just
me watching you just
fair.
scratch your head, and so I'm gonna try and play around with it this weekend. I'm gonna try and come up with something that I can still do with this, but it's just like I'm having a hard time with this one.
Okay.
It's it's rattling my brain now.
Well, you know what? The episode hasn't gone too long yet, so you know what? How about I set you up with a game then?
All right.
How about?
All right.
Because you know what? Let's do a guess the player, and
Oh, fuck.
let's see what score you can get on that.
All righty.
And you know what?
Okay.
I'm just gonna do a little bit of a random pick here on a team, and then from there, click on a player, and then we'll have our random guy.
All righty. I can work with this. You got your
Boom.
player?
Got my
Okay.
player.
Sounds like you got him. All right. I'm trying to think of the strategy here. I should know a good strategy after spending so much time watching you. Um,
There's a couple different ways you can go about it. There's a lot of ways to try and you know, narrow it down quickly, but if you don't hit on those questions, it's kind of a wasted question. So
yeah, yeah. But it's not like I'm trying to beat any record right now. I'm definitely not trying to
that's
beat your
true.
record. But maybe I'll try.
I would say a good benchmark. Try and do it under 10.
Under 10.
I think at least that's fair.
Okay. I think that's doable.
Yeah.
Is this team one of their colors blue that this player is on?
No.
Okay.
I'm gonna Google their official colors. I would definitely knee-jerk reaction say no.
Just like primary or secondary color, yeah.
It's definitely not their primary color. I don't
It's
really.
not their primary color, actually. I mean, that's good enough. Yeah, primary. So not blue's not the primary. That eliminates quite a few teams for me. So
yeah,
I'm okay with that.
Technically, a shade of blue is in their top 3 colors, but
okay.
if you asked me to name 15 teams with blue in there, I don't think they would be on my list.
Okay. Is this team in the West?
They are in the West.
Okay. So I'm not a blue team and in the West. Does this player make more than 6 mil per year? 6 or more mil per year?
No, they do not.
Okay, 6 mil. Is this player a forward?
Yes, they are.
Yeah, so they are forward.
4 questions in. He's
Western
narrowed it down a
team,
decent bit.
No blue. Under 6 mil. And they are a forward. Okay. What can my options be? What's a good last question? I feel like I could get pretty. Oh, what's a better one to ask? Do I figure out the division or a little bit more about the player? Is this player 27 years old or older?
No, they are not.
All right. So they're under 27. Who could this be? That's the tough part now. Is trying
You got a lot of the specifics about the player figured out. If you figure out the team, I think it'll make it not too difficult, or at least I would assume, have not. There can't be that many players on any given team with that all fit that same criteria.
Is this team in the Pacific Division?
No, they are not.
They are not, so it is Central. Okay, I was kind of thinking Central. But it's good to confirm that. All right, so Central. Colorado. You definitely not Utah. That's a whole lot of blue. Not the
It's a whole lot of
Blues.
blue.
Not the Jets. The Blackhawks, Preds,
The
Wild
Jets kind of feel like their
Stars.
primary color's white. Maybe that's just because of the whiteout, but like,
Yeah, that kind of does though, right?
which like I can't tell if that's lame or kind of sick because like nobody else does it. It's sick for the whiteout jerseys, I'll tell you that.
What am I at here? I'm at 6 questions in.
Yeah,
Is got a 50-50 here on the team, I feel like. Is this player on the Nashville Predators?
they are on the Nashville
It
Predators.
is Nashville. Shit. Because I have a guessing, but I was like, I feel like I should get the team locked in.
Oh, you cut out there a bit. What was that?
Oh, did I? Oh, I said that I was pretty sure that I have the player, but I wanted to confirm that it was Nashville. But the player I'm thinking is on Nashville, but I should confirm their age just in case here. That lines up. I think I got the player. I think I figured it out.
If you're
I
looking
think so.
to get under 10, you still have 2 more hints if you wanna make sure. But you know what? You can set a new high score at 8
Yeah.
if you wanna go for the guess here.
And if it is this player, it's going to frustrate me because it's who I was going to guess earlier, but I just asked for Nashville anyways. I know it's a Ford. Under 27 years old, under $6 million per year on the Preds. Is it Luke Evangelista? Locking it in.
It is Luke Evangelista. You have done it in
It is.
7 hints, 7 yes or no questions, and 8 was the guess. Nicely done.
That's who I had, but then I was like, I should confirm Nashville.
What other team were you thinking it might be?
I was debating on maybe Colorado.
Fair.
Because like just kind of going off at least the logo, like it's not really like a primary color. Like it's very prominent. The logo, it's like it's kind of the third color. So I was like, oh, maybe a Colorado, but like I knew obviously not Dallas, not
Yeah, I might have given you a
'cause
little
there was
bit
no one
much
that really-
on the color one because I said that they have blue, but it's not the primary color. But
yeah, like even then, like it only
because I was like, my
you know.
knee jerk reaction was like, no, like they're yellow. But then I was like, well, they got a little blue, and then I googled it, and what were the answers? It said like the colors were yellow, navy blue, and black, or something like that, and gold, navy blue, and white. And I'm like, well, there's not a lot of blue in there, but it is in there.
Yeah, so I was
They're
kind
one
of
of those
between
teams
them
that I
and
feel like just have like one
Colorado.
color basically.
Yeah, but I like obviously the two I knew for sure not was Utah and St. Louis.
Yeah.
Like, but
Nice.
Luke
Well,
Evangelista.
you know, it's nice to swap it around on the game every once in a while. You know, get you in there playing some stuff, and you know what? New high score of 8.
Kept me on
Maybe
my toes there.
Next time we need a game, maybe we'll do that again and see if you can do it in 7.
Absolutely, I like the sound of that. But we're at the tail end of the episode. As always, we do want to thank all of you for tuning in to yet another episode of the Stick 'em Up podcast. If you are enjoying the playoffs like us and want to talk hockey in any way, shape, or form, you can do so through any of our socials. They are linked down below or over on YouTube as well in the comments or the community section. Maybe we'll throw up some polls there over the weekend and get your guys' thoughts on maybe some awards or playoff stuff or draft stuff. I don't know. We'll just make up a bunch of shit and do that. But yeah, there are going to be a lot of good games this weekend. We'll be back on Tuesday next week, so we'll get. Well, by that point, we'll be get through games 2 and 3 on both series.
Really?
So,
Oh, we'll have 3 games done on both sides. I mean, yeah, I guess
Friday.
they're doing a game.
Assuming we're Monday night, kind of the usual.
Right.
Yeah, we'll be 3 games in, so we'll have a pretty good idea where these series are at. But we are at the end of this one. So, Brayden, as always, I must ask you final thoughts.
Final thoughts. The first 2 games on either side of the conferences have not gone how, at the very least, how we predicted they would go. I think they
Yep.
haven't gone how most people thought either. I think a lot of people figured it was going to be Avalanche Hurricanes pretty handily in the finals, and if nothing else, this is going to make the conference finals on both sides more interesting, which is always good because this is
Absolutely.
about the time where a lot of people often lose a little bit of interest in it just because there's less teams. It's a little more predictable because of that. You know, people have been watching the playoffs for a month already. Like, people start falling off a little bit before they get back in for the finals. So it's a nice way to get eyes to stay on these series because
Absolutely.
if games won on both of them are any indicator, they're going to be 2 really good series.
Absolutely. I'm right there with you. But that is it for this episode. One final time, we do want to thank all of you for tuning in. And as always, we will see all of you out on the ice next week.